Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. This is going to be these are the last few days of 2020. And while we all probably unanimously feel that it's been a washout of a year, I think a lot of that has depended on how we have chosen to spend our time in confinement, in lockdown, whether we have chosen to be frustrated, make enemies of friends, whether we have tapped into the spiritual journey that's happening under the pandemic for planet Earth. So interestingly, when I was looking up why perhaps humanity has been seeing a lot of paradigm shifts in our century, including the high rate of divorce, including infertility, so many issues that have been written about by the lifestyle press, front page stories, so many surveys and statistics that point to the fact that somewhere the universe is saying, please don't multiply. Please stop where you are. You've already filled every possible living nook and cranny of your cities with human beings. So in the context of looking for happy relationships, I have tried to include an analysis that is inclusive of our reality, our present reality. So trash that old gender program. I've written basically that we have 7.8 billion people on planet Earth. How badly do we really need more people? I still see a lot of my girlfriends very idealistic about the institution of marriage, very, very dreamy about the idea of having children. And, they've been raised with those values. And of course, those are beautiful values. Families help you to make sense out of your own existence. They give a day-to-day life a sense of fulfillingness, a sort of real groundedness as well. But unfortunately, many people are journeying alone when they attempt to get into the family situation, or then they find it's not as great a deal as they thought it was, because there are so many compromises people make along that journey, just to make sure that the family stays together. A major message of COVID-19 to humanity has been, please, just chill, just chill. We have too many of you. Too many of you. 7.8 billion. Can you even conceive that number? There is an ecosystem around you that is also alive, striving to be alive and sustained. There's a parallel family, and it consists of birds, microbes, animals, flowers, trees, oceans. Today, whales are washing up ashore with plastic in their abdomens. Dolphins are going through processes where they're committing mass suicide. What kind of a planet have we created? Even if you want to go into the wife model and the mother model, consider what kind of world you're bringing your children into. Today, children are crying. They're crying that there's no future for us. Everything is dying. Everything is over. Where are we going to go from here? If you stopped making babies, ladies, for a generation, we still have too many of you around. And the virus is not gender prejudiced. It is here to wipe us out in a very, very unapologetic way. If you've not looked after your health, the virus says, time for you to go. If you've not been environmentally conscious and sensitive, the virus says, you're not doing anyone a favor. You're not doing the planet a favor. Maybe it's time for you to go. So it's been a huge space clearing. It's like how we do space clearing, and it's a very harsh, destructive space clearing. It's if our loved ones have suffered through this time, my heart goes out to you. But I'm trying to step back, pull out and zoom out and see why. What was the why of this year? My message would be from Mind the Gap. Stop pressuring your daughters to marry and procreate. Instead, let them work towards established identities that fit in with today's script. Whether it's the ecological script, whether it's the new third wave feminism script, respect their choices. Let them not be bonsai trees at the mercy of convention. Time-honored institutions like marriage are sadly crashing hard and fast. In a multiple choice world where variety is no longer just the spice, but the essence of life, And we have created that world. We have created the Bumble, the Tinder, that restlessness. In fact, one of my married male friends many years ago told me that, Sangeeta, I think the monogamy gene has gone from our social environment. The monogamy gene within our systems is gone. We're all polygamous. And interestingly, his life partner, his legally wedded wife, was the first one to get into an extramarital situation. He was still floating around, going to the forest to meditate and everything. But she is the one who actually got into a full-fledged relationship. And none of them are judging each other for it, because it just seems to be a bizarre sign of the times. In such a climate, both boys and girls are individuals. Their bond has little or nothing to do really these days with a marital status. Also, instead of parceling your daughters into the uncertain universe of the smug marriage with some jewels and then welcoming their 2.2 children, I would make them equal inheritors for vital assets like a very strong education, property, family property, and other family assets, so that regardless of where their relationship zones go, they still have the ground beneath their feet. There are a couple of beautiful quotes that have come my way in my career as a journalist. This particular encounter with Javed Akhtar happened when I was at L'Officiel magazine. And I, at that time, was very heartbroken about a relationship that was not going anywhere. And I was also disturbed at the divorce rates, because I grew up in a far more idealistic world where things were permanent and family values were sacrosanct. So I asked him, doesn't it bother you? So many marriages are ending in divorce. And his answer was so powerful. It still resonates in my memory, and I quote it liberally whenever I sit with my women friends. What he said was, there is maximum stability between a master and a slave, less stability between an employer and an employee, and the least stability between equals. And to him, that was the greatest sign on earth. If the divorce rates were going up, it meant women had choices. If the divorce rates were ascending, it meant that people were able to part ways and be logical about it and not get bitter and just call it a day. And nobody was the wiser. Both were on equal ground. Both were perhaps economically empowered. And both felt maybe they had grown out of something that might have been very beautiful. So there was no judgment. There was no ugliness to the idea. So women, of course, are increasingly becoming the men they wanted to marry. That was an idea I got from an author called Sandhya Mulchandani, who had written a book called The Indian Man, His True Colors. And Devita Saraf, who I quoted yesterday, she's a remarkable woman because she is such a no-nonsense girl. She's bought herself her own home. And you know how with the Paraya Dhan idea, the idea is that a girl will migrate to another home and serve another family. But what she has done is such a nice and an interesting reversal of that. She has bought herself a beautiful home on my street. And when I wrote this book initially, I wasn't clear on how she viewed that situation of a man coming to live with her. But then she clarified. And then I clarified it in the manuscript, that what she feels is that tomorrow she likes to design her own space, so she's chosen her own place. If a man moves in with her and if he's her legal partner, then she said for him to get his name on the door, he should pay me half the value of the property. And then she's good to go with that kind of an arrangement. So no question of adjusting what Seema Auntie talks about in Indian matchmaking, bending over backwards, breaking down your identity, compromising. She's happily bypassing all of that. So these are some interesting thoughts that I'm leaving you with for Tuesday. And we will, of course, reconvene on some very other fascinating stories from Mind the Gap. And thanks for listening in. And let's hope the last few days of 2020 continue to teach us critical lessons, critical knocks on the door, you know, knock, knock, joke, or make a joke out of it if you want to. Who's there? 2020. Oh, we thought you were leaving us soon. Whatever, whichever way you want to look at it, I really think that this year was a big knock on that door. And beyond the jokes, beyond the fun and games, if we want to survive with the existing children on the planet, let's please reform our attitudes and let us please review our priorities. And on that happy note, ciao till we meet again. Bye.